Hi, church. I'm Bethany. If you don't know who I am, I'm the president of the council here at Calvary. I'm here in the state park, Lake Bemidji State Park, times a week. This has really become a place that I need to be once we started having the stay at home, the sheltering in place, whatever you want to call it. I really needed a place to go where I could clear my head, get a bunch of fresh air, and just walk and do some thinking. Being out here, when you walk through this place, I do a lot of thinking about transformation. When I first started walking out here a few months ago, I was hopping over snow piles and tiptoeing over mud puddles, and it was really this really barren place. You could hear creaking in the woods, and you could physically see through all the trees and figure out which limb was dead and was kind of swaying back and forth. Now you can see it's green everywhere. It is full and it is lush. And it is just beautiful. The leaves, the grass, the trails. You're not walking on dirt. You're walking through just so much great growth. Transformation has happened at our church as well. Really, transformation has happened in every facet of our lives, it seems like lately. But today I'll speak to the church aspect. Church worship is no longer what we've gotten used to, right? There is no large group worships. There is no Calvary Alive, confirmation, our circles. All of it is just either been suspended, or it's virtual, or it's just different. I know we're all anxious to get back to church. We're all anxious to get back to see one another, to worship together, to pray together, to sing together. Unfortunately, that's just not going to happen for a while. We from council, from staff, from all of church leadership, we needed to make the decisions that were best for not just our safety, but also our worshiping experience, what we've come to expect, who we are. I can share on our Facebook page a longer, more descriptive article about what this would be like, but I do want to give you a few nuggets in terms of what the experience would be like if we were to reopen church, like some of the churches have been doing lately. You would drive up to Calvary. You would be greeted by a volunteer in gloves and wearing a mask who would take your temperature, who would screen some questions, make sure you're in good health, make sure you fit the guidelines that have been provided to us by the state. Then you'd go back to your car. You'd be given a number and you would go back to your car and you would wait. And one by one, they would call numbers and you would come into church. You would go through a sanitization area. And then you would go into the sanctuary and you would go to a designated seat that is marked off. It is socially distanced, at least 6 feet away from congregants on either side. And you would be asked to stay there in your little seat area, and we would count. And once we hit 87, anybody who was still in the parking lot waiting to come in would be told that there just wasn't room. 87 is the cap for us here at Calvary based on the guidelines by the state to stay at 25% of our fire code. So anybody over 87 would be told better luck next time, or please join us online through worship, because of course throughout all of this we'll keep our online worship opportunities. They've been a big help for everybody to stay connected. But anyhow, let's go back to that family that's sitting in the pew waiting for worship to start. They have a few minutes before worship starts, so they reach for a Bible, do some pre-worship reading, and they find there is no Bible. There are no hymnals. There are no pens. There are no papers. There's none of these communal objects that we're used to having. None of that, because church gets ready to get started. They're going to stand up. They're going to get ready to sing, but they find that there is no singing. That singing is being played to that congregation through the screen. You're going to sit and listen to other people sing, probably quite beautifully. That congregational response where the pastor leads and the congregation responds, that's out too. There's no talking. There's no singing. All of those voice-activated projection-type activities, those are all out because that helps spread the virus. It's different. It's not what I would call a Calvary worship. It's very passive. It's not an active experience. The pastors would preach. You would have those core pieces as to what worship is, but it wouldn't be what you've come to expect. We've had conversations from leadership, for council, from staff, and it's just not the right time for us, Calvary. As of now, we will look at reevaluating this decision at the end of summer, perhaps in August. As you may be aware, Bemidji has had its first hospitalization of COVID. The cases are increasing. I just want you to have the information that is current. We're going to keep watching those numbers from a leadership perspective. We're going to make the best decisions we can based on the health and the safety of our congregation. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can certainly send me an email. My email address is bwesley, W-E-S-L-E-Y, @calvarybemidji.org. Thank you for tuning in to our online worships. We encourage you to take part in our new Calvary Live Facebook feeds, which are also going on other social media accounts as well. Those are on Thursdays at noon. And I appreciate you watching. We appreciate your prayers, and we appreciate everybody staying healthy.